Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. My name is Taylor and welcome to my YouTube channel where I cover different stories about things that I've gone through. I also share like book recommendations or um, I'll share my review on like other products. I'm still trying to figure out my YouTube channel, and I know that my videos are pretty random sometimes, and I think that I'm okay with that because the things that I share, I feel like a lot of people can relate to me, and the video that I'm making right now, I'm hoping that a lot of people will relate to what I'm going to talk about. So, I wanted to share my experiences with Ouija boards. And if you don't know what a Ouija board is, it's spelled Ouija. And it's kind of like a game. It's a board, like a game board. And a lot of people refuse to play this game because a lot of people have said that it sometimes summons demons to your house or other crazy shit has happened to people. And maybe y'all will think that my stories are crazy, and so I'm just gonna share my experiences and what I think about Ouija boards and all that, and let me know if you guys have experiences with it. So yeah, let's get started. So a Ouija board it's a board where it has like the alphabet printed on it, and then it has numbers on it as well, and then it has in one top corner it says yes, in another corner it says no, and on the bottom it says goodbye. And it comes with like a triangle plastic piece with like a magnifying glass circle inside of it, and you like put your hands on the triangle, and you can do this with multiple people. Well, you do your fingers, like 2 fingers on it, and you just rest them. You don't push down on the plastic piece or anything. You just put your fingers on it so you know you're touching it, but don't move it on your own. And apparently you're supposed to light some candles, and I think you're supposed to say a prayer before you start. And everybody has to be touching this triangle, and if somebody gets scared and they take their hands off, I've heard it's not a good sign. So I'm sure I experienced that. I don't remember. My experiences with Ouija boards was when I was a little girl. I want to say like, I don't know, 10 years old maybe. And my sister, she had a Ouija board. I do not know where she got it. I don't know if it was new or used or anything, but she was the one that introduced me to this. And so we tried it a few times together, and it blew my mind, because if you and the other person that you're with isn't moving the triangle, it's weird. It's like, okay, there's something here. So I think you have to like say a prayer. Maybe you have to like move the plastic piece like around the board like 10 times or something. I don't remember what the ritual was. And then you keep your fingers on the triangle piece, and you say, are there any spirits here right now? And then, you know, it might move to yes, and you might have to give it a little bit of time, but slowly, if there are spirits there, then it will move. And some spirits are slower than others, and some of them move it faster, which is, it's just crazy to me. So my sister and I, we did the Ouija board a few times, and we did end up talking to spirits. We really have no way of knowing if it's accurate or if they are demons or what. But I also introduced my friend Jillian to Ouija boards because I found them so fascinating, and I wanted to use them, you know, because my sister wasn't always around, and I have no idea if this was a terrible idea. But I'll tell you all the experiences that me and Jillian had, because I think I can remember some of it. So, me and Jillian, we actually, I think we Googled how to make your own Ouija board. And so we would just write on a piece of paper everything that you would see on a regular Ouija board. And then I think we like used a pen or a pencil or something to, and that would be like the pointer to point us to each letter and whatever. And it was really interesting because we got a lot of information, and we didn't think it was gonna work, and I have no idea if Jillian was moving that thing, but I'd like to believe that she wasn't. And there was one time she came over to my house, and we had been talking on the Ouija board, and we learned that we had been talking to our guardian angels. And my guardian angel's name was Frank. And it just felt weird to know the names that they gave us. And I remember one time we asked them, our guardian angels, if they could like hold our hand, right? So Jilly and I were sitting on the couch. I can't get comfortable. In my basement of my childhood home, and we hold our hands out, and we just kind of wait, and we see what happens. And slowly, I could feel my hand, it kind of felt like it was starting to go numb, and it would slowly move like this. And I wasn't doing anything. I was just holding it out. And it just slowly was moving. And it felt like my hand was tingling. And it was just so weird. Because obviously there's no way to fake that. It's not like Jillian, I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, we did that for a while. We used our own Ouija boards. Like, we'd use the Ouija board and then we'd go to the park, and it was so weird, thinking back, because our parents didn't know anything. And then there was this other time that I had been playing cards with my dad in the kitchen, and I brought up the Ouija board because I don't know if he knew that my sister was using it or not, but it didn't really seem like he cared or he really knew what it was. And so I mentioned something to him like, hey, we should use the Ouija board sometime. Wouldn't that be fun? I use it with Jazz. And then I kind of told him a little bit about it. And it was the weirdest thing because all of a sudden his eyes rolled back to the back of his head, and he says in a really low voice, "Leave me alone." And I think I said, "Huh?" And they said it again. And then my dad opened his eyes and he's like, "Oh, whose turn is it in the game?" Like he completely was changing the subject or something. And I just looked at him and I was like, "What was that?" And he had no recollection. He had no idea what I was talking about. So in my mind, I believe that maybe a spirit had, I don't know, this sounds so nuts, but maybe a spirit had taken over him for, 10 seconds or whatever. And for years, I always wondered about that. I think I said something to my dad later on, and he still had no idea what I was talking about. And I searched on YouTube for like Ouija board stories or something, and I believe in one of those stories somebody mentioned something very similar to that story that I just told you about "Leave Me Alone." And so that's also helped me to like believe that maybe something took over him for a little bit. It sounds nuts saying it out loud, but it was weird. I was still a young kid, and it freaked me out for sure. Yeah. So I had no idea what happened to the Ouija board that my sister had. I don't know if she left it in the house that we grew up in or what. But I haven't used a Ouija board for like 15 years at least. Probably longer. And sometimes I think about it, and I think about how it would be cool to, go back and try it again. But I don't know. I just figure if the spirits need to talk to me, they'll figure out a different way. Yeah. That's really all I can remember. I think there might have been something happen where we would tell the spirit, like when I was with my sister, we would tell the spirit to like make a noise, and I think we did hear a knock or something. I'm not positive that happened, but I do think something strange like that did happen. And we were home alone. It was just us out in the country. Like there wasn't anybody around. So yeah, those are my past experiences with the Ouija board. And I was thinking about sharing my ghost stories because I do have a few ghost stories that I could share. But I think I'll save that for a different video. I think that should be its own video. I do believe in ghosts. I believe in all of that stuff, and it's fascinating to... I love listening to people's ghost stories and weird, unexplainable things that have happened to them. And I feel like if you've never had anything happen to you, then it would make sense if you don't believe in ghosts. I mean, there's footage on YouTube of like ghosts on camera, but I don't know. I like people's stories more, and I like pictures. Pictures are very interesting because you can take a picture and be completely by yourself, but when you get, back in the day, when you get the picture developed, then you see a figure. And I find that, like, I'm getting goosebumps. I think that's so creepy, but it's so interesting. And I'm definitely a believer. And I'd love to get in touch with other believers of the afterlife. And yeah, let me know if you guys have had any crazy Ouija board experiences. Look for a ghost story video coming up. I have a few stories that I could share. And honestly, I think the ghost stories are probably more interesting than my Ouija board stories that I just talked about. I honestly thought that I could remember more about the Ouija board experiences, but it's been a long time. A lot of stuff has happened in between then, and I just don't know. But I do remember the ghost stories, so stay tuned for that, and let me know if you guys liked this video. And make sure you subscribe. I try to put out new videos every Monday. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I'll put it out a day early. So, you know what? Surprise. Here you go. Happy Wednesday. Bye.